Everybody ready? Come on, let's go.
The Rick Thorne Show! Let's go! The Rick Thorne Show! Let's go!
Yo, what up? This is Rick Thorne. I always love that video, but I don't. Jeff, the man, the myth, the legend. Legend means you're dead. I'm still alive. I'm still kicking. I'm still, you should say, living legend. Oh! What up? I'm glad you're here. What's going on? I hope you're doing good. I'm glad you tuned in. Check it out. I got a really good friend of mine. We've known each other for years. This guy's an OG, triple OG. I would say quadruple OG BMX Flatlander. Inspired so many people through the days. I'm so psyched he's been here. BMXer all the way, all day, Mr. Dave Nourie.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me. We've been talking about doing this for quite some time.
Yeah. Well, I was dumb. I was like, you still live in Southern California, dude?
I know. You're like, wait, you're in Oregon. Yeah.
Well, because when you were on my wall as a kid, dude, it was all Southern California, Venice Beach,
exactly.
Like all these things. Yeah. You were on this bright green bike with the tough wheels doing the Gumby.
Yeah.
You know?
And I come down pretty often. We just haven't been able to make it work, but I'm glad to be here. So thanks for having me.
I'm stoked you're here too, dude. You're like a legend.
Well, I've just been on my bike for many years, so, it adds up.
It does. You were on my wall too.
Oh, well, okay.
That's back when, remember when you were a kid and you would tear like photos out and put them on the wall? Did you ever do that?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Everybody did that.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
Mike Dominguez. I had Mike Dominguez, Brian Blyther, had some racers as well.
So you had them
Eddie
on
King.
your wall before you were sponsored?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So then you knew about them and they were in the magazines before you?
Yeah, for sure. RL, Mike Buff,
Yeah.
just the typical. Yeah,
The BMX action trick team guys. Yeah. I think they were the first to kind of do a lot of this.
for sure.
The touring and stuff.
Yeah.
I think there was RL was kind of the first in it.
And Bob Morales and
Yeah.
Mike Buff, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that those guys were, anyone listening, like there's been generations of BMX. Dave's from like the first kind of like sponsored big time, like in a sense, like where you get support and you got sponsors and you get endorsements and stuff. That would have been the mid 80s, right? Was that the year you kind of got sponsored?
I sponsored, my first sponsorship was in 1984
And who was that with?
with Haro. Yeah.
Oh, so your first sponsor was the one you had the whole time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Ooh,
Yeah.
how long were you
I mean, now I have other sponsors that Reclamation is my current sponsor that does the bike.
Right.
But yeah, for that period, it was just Haro. And then towards the end, I did a little bit with GT.
So how many years did you ride for Haro?
5 years.
5.
Yeah.
That's
and
it?
two hip. Because Ron Wilkerson had 2 hips, so we did that for a bit.
That's true. God, it seemed like it was a lot longer back then, didn't it?
I know. And you think
It's
about how much
weird.
we focus on that era of time, which is only like 5 years of our life.
Yeah, because I've been riding like 40 years and I feel like I still don't get enough out of my system. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because I look back at like the Dominguez and all of you guys on the the early days of the magazines and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I had a King of the Skate Parks video cassette, that I got somewhere, someone filmed it off TV or something.
Yeah.
It just seems like those years went by so long. But realistically, like by the time 1988 came around, the sport kind of took a crash.
Yeah. for
Right?
sure. Yeah.
And then people dropped their teams and no one was riding. And right? That's when a lot of people bailed out of it. I
Yeah.
think.
I mean, I lost my sponsorship. 88 was the last tour with Haro. And then 89, 2 hip. Ron put us on tour. Brian, myself, and Ron. And that was awesome, but it wasn't the same as riding for Haro. It was
Because he probably didn't have the money that Haro
He did
had.
not have. Yeah, the funds were not quite the same.
Because you're
But-
going back to sharing a room when you had your own.
Exactly. Our per diem for food, but still, the passion and the love and the fun was still the same, Rick. It wasn't any different.
I know that, but I'm saying you work to get to a level. Sometimes it's hard when you go, when you're used to like certain things that you worked for, and then those are taken away, and you still want to ride. You're like, dude, I got to eat like bread and honey, and
wasn't quite that bad.
it was for me.
It was for you.
Oh yeah, dude. I did these shows for Bob Cole in Minnesota, bro. I had no money.
oh.
I drove up from St. Louis. He had me doing 8 shows a day.
Oh my gosh.
From 12 to 8, and I had no money, and I was eating honey and bread to save money because I just was trying to save as much as I could to help pay my rent.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Anyways, that's a whole other story. So let's go back. So your first sponsor was on Haro, 84.
Correct.
How did you get on Haro?
I mean, you have to put it in perspective, Rick, because at that time there was maybe 12 pros like in the whole country.
if that.
Yeah, and there
In the
were,
whole world.
so I went to my first contest in Huntington Beach, AFA, and I wasn't even sure if I was good enough, but my buddies, it was actually John Peterson, which was an announcer for horror one year, and Tony Murray.
John Peterson, he was a writer too.
He was a writer.
And a photographer.
He wrote a 24-inch.
Patterson,
yeah.
he invented that 1 foot plant where you go up and I'm telling you, first person I saw do it.
Yeah, downside.
Did he do downside? Did he invent those?
Yeah.
What about the other one where he like instead of downside you put the top foot on and the bike goes up like this?
Oh, that's right.
And I always,
like a can version.
Weird, yeah, because you wouldn't can it though. Your foot would still be on the pedal, so it was like you were doing a topside can, but your foot was on the pedal still.
Right.
So it'd be this downside foot on the deck rather than this bottom one when you fast plant and turn this way. Anyways,
Yeah.
But yeah, I know who you're talking about.
So John and Tony Murray basically said, just go to the contest, just have fun.
Tony Murray.
And I was just like, well, I didn't really think I had the skills.
Hold on a second. Is his mic good? Because his voice is low. You picking him up? Okay, keep talking. Keep talking.
I've been telling stories all week.
I know. I just want to make sure when we go to the edit that it's not low and we could hear you. Okay, so go back. So Tony Murray.
Yeah, Tony Murray and John Peterson just said, come up to Huntington Beach. It's a contest. You'll have fun. Don't worry about inner novice. And did pretty good. Like I just did my stuff. And at the time, the sport was so just developing that I got first place in novice, and then that turned into a sponsorship.
From novice?
From novice.
What did Bob see you or something?
So what happened was Ron Wilton was riding for Haro.
Yep.
And he was he couldn't tell me, but he said there might be an opportunity because there's some things that are changing in Haro, which meant he was moving to ride with RL. And he was going to join the BMX Action Trick Team. So he told Bob, hey, I think this Nourie guy's got some potential, like the showmanship. I did a lot of showmanship type of style of riding. It's perfect for shows, and Bob came down to a contest in Lakeside and met me, and he said, look, we might have an opportunity, I'll call you in a couple of weeks. Now I'm thinking this is Bob Haro. He probably tells that to like every rider that he meets.
Yeah, because everyone's trying to get at him, like, hey, Bob,
yeah. So I didn't hold it like I didn't have my hopes up too high, but it was in the back of my mind. Sure enough, 2 weeks to the day he called me up, and I remember I was working in the day and then going to school at night, and I just happened to be at home, pick up the phone, it's Bob Haro.
Yeah, that's before cell phones, kids.
Yeah, the landline, the old landline. And sure enough, Bob's like, yeah, so we, have some shows coming up. We'd like to hook you up with a bike and, get you dialed in. And I'm like, well, let me check my schedule, Bob. Like I played it off. And that was my first show, and went up to Stockton, California, and did some shows with Rich Segier, Tony Murray, and Bob actually announced it.
Wow, that's great, dude. That's an awesome story because that's how you had to do it back in the day.
Yeah.
You had to go to the contest. You had to physically go like show up.
Yep, absolutely.
You had to like let people know who you are. I know why you got sponsored though, because you have good energy and you've always had you have your own style of riding. Even to this day, the tricks you do and the way that you do them is still fun to watch. Some people do old school tricks. You're like, yeah, I get it. You're doing grasshoppers. That shit looks whack. But you're doing this stuff like you still got like a lot of energy and pop and pizzazz in what you do. And you're fun to watch. Still all these years.
And you know how that came to be is that, so I used to be a street rider. I used to be like a street rider in San Diego, brakeless, rode like race frames.
Dang, you were doing brakes for everybody. Brakeless, huh?
Yeah, it was just, bunny hopping wheelies and, kickouts. That was pretty much it.
Right.
And then started hanging out at the beach and started doing a few basic, like frame stands, bar rides, rock walks.
Is that where people freestyled a lot back in the day?
Yeah, it was like
the beach?
breakdancing, skateboarding, and BMX. And we would just get massive, this is Hamels, massive crowds. And Rick Allison would roll out. Primo Desiderio would come out and skate.
Did you guys get money? Put out a hat and shit?
We didn't really do that so much. I did it at Venice Beach a few times, but not really at Mission. It wasn't really the vibe there.
Got it.
But it was a lot of fun, and it gave me that that perspective of the entertainment showmanship kind of riding, right? So you're just like working. It's kind of like a battle, like you would be breaking, right? And so Rick goes out there, does this crazy rolling handstand. I'm like, okay, I got to throw down and kind of one up him in a fun, almost.
So that's where you
competitive way.
learned that then.
Exactly.
Kind of the influence from breakdancing and then the live performance.
And in front of actual people. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the best way to learn.
For sure.
Yeah, we did the same thing in Kansas City.
Tell me what it was like in Kansas City.
I mean, it was different. Like, I first met Dennis McCoy. I came out of an arcade in 1983, and he was with a bunch of dudes from the hood, and they had a boombox and a hat out, and he was doing some grass rolling, like
but
not
where?
rolling.
Like in the city, downtown?
No, it was in the suburbs. I had just moved to the area in South KC, and it was up at the mall, which is no longer there. And he He was just, I was new to the area. I rode. I was just like a dorky kid. I was still breakdancing too. Anyways, this isn't about me. I'm just trying to say that's what it was. It was like the same thing, but they had a hat out and they were getting money and stuff.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like what people did back then. The kids listening, like you would just go out and do it. You know what I mean? And so for you getting sponsored back in those days, like if you would have been in Missouri, that wouldn't have happened.
No.
You would have had to wait for that team if they came through to do a show to try to impress them or save your money and go to that contest.
Yeah, I think I mean,
right?
It's actually
so
yeah,
Southern
right
California
place, right
owned
time.
it. Southern California owned all of it in the beginning.
Yeah.
It wasn't really because Dennis, I think, was the first guy. Dennis McCoy, my best homie and your teammate, everybody knows him. He was the first sponsored dude outside of California. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
And that's when he
That
came
makes
out to
sense,
Venice and he won a bunch of stuff in '85 or something. And then Haro was like, because they'd already kind of put him on in '84. That's when
Right.
Dennis got on too.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, I might have saw you. Hold on. Did you go on tour in '84 with Haro?
Nope. No. So I signed late '84, like November '84. '85 was my first tour.
Okay.
with Haro, summer tour. '85.
Okay. Yeah, because I saw Haro in '84.
But we saw each other
With
on
Ron
tour,
Wilton.
I mean, I remember Ohio. You were at some of the shows in Ohio, but that might have been '86 or
Yeah, but I
87.
was a scrub, dude. I was trying to come up. You guys were my idols. I was Dennis's, one of Dennis's good friends, best bud, whatever.
Yeah.
Little sidekick. So I was just trying to like mingle and get to know people. But yeah, dude, I thought I might have saw you because I saw Bob Haro tour in '84
Oh, cool.
at a mall, and that's where Dennis
With
first,
Ron Wilton, probably.
Yeah,
Yep,
and that's
yeah.
and Bob was announcing because of his knee. He said, I remember to this day, I tore ligaments or something, and that's where Dennis rode out there, and Bob did tricks for Bob and he got flow that year. So my point is that you had to show up
Yeah.
to my big rant here, and by California it was different because a lot of the companies were there,
Right, and the magazines are here.
and the magazines were there. It was
yeah,
different than
for
they
sure.
owned it, they ran it, right?
Yeah,
But you still had to be good,
yeah. Right.
and you're good.
I think it came along. I mean, I'll tell you the funny story. When I got my first bike, my mom ordered it from a Sears catalog. And my older
Yeah,
brother,
Mom.
Mom's in the studio actually, she's along for the trip. But so she ordered a bike, and in her mind, in my dad's mind at the time, it's like you're about 8 years old when you get your first bike. That's just where they came from. But I was 5, and I already learned how to ride a bike, and I was like ready. And it was Christmas, and I got my bike, and I had to wait for the snow to melt because I was living in Chicago at the time. I get out there, I'm riding with this a friend that was a couple years older, this guy Matthew, and we went down to this church, and the first thing I did, he's like can ride no-handed and stuff. He had probably a Schwinn Stingray, and he could do a few things, just goofing around, maybe some wheelies no-handed. So I decided to ride down these steps. Like that's the first thing I decided to do. Rode down the steps, one step, 2 steps. By the third step, the front end just broke off completely.
Oh wow!
So now we have 2 bikes, like 2 parts of the bike.
The head tube or something?
Yeah, it was just a really
Or the
inexpensive.
the forks break.
No, the whole head tube just snapped off the frame.
What?
So I got on the handlebars. I
Sorry,
rode
Mom.
back.
That bike was a piece of junk.
And she knew it. The best response though, my mom was like, "So David, what actually happened there?" I go, "Well, I just saw these steps. And I decided to try to ride down it." She was totally cool about it. She was just like, "Okay, well, I think we're going to go to a bike shop now and get a proper bike."
Get
So
a legit bike.
I got some kind of Raleigh or something at the time. So this is like 1970. So I just think that I've always had this interest in pedaling around and goofing off on a bike.
You get it, bro. I'm with
just-
you. We're on the same wavelength.
It's never been something that I mean, even though when, like you mentioned, the sport, died off, and mountain bike came in, and a lot of the sponsorships just went away overnight. But I didn't stop riding. I didn't stop going to the beach. I just continued to do it because it was so much fun.
Yeah, because you had the level of success. The first generation of riders that got sponsored was on the road, touring around, doing your thing. Stuff like me as a kid, you're on my wall, I dreamed of. And I was like, California, I want to go. And I got better with the sport when it crashed.
Mm-hmm.
So I got good in '88 after it already crashed in '87. And like, I didn't get anything for years. So I know all about doing it for the love.
Yeah.
You're going to do it regardless.
And another good story, and I might have showed this
No.
with you before.
Real quick, I didn't know that you were from Chicago. I always thought you were born and raised in California.
No, Chicago is my roots, but my mom moved out with my 3 brothers, the 4 of us, in like when I was 9.
Got it.
And then I
Okay.
did go back to Chicago for a bit, but yeah, I
I
still
never knew
feel
that
like
till just now. Okay,
yeah,
that's cool.
I still feel like I grew up in Southern California.
Yeah.
But I did, obviously was born in Chicago. But funny story, when I did lose that sponsorship, I basically was, I had a bit of money saved up from tour and whatnot. I
Yeah.
wasn't, and blowing it all. So I was living off my savings and trying to figure out what I was going to do. Like, I don't have much of a resume, and just like a 19-year-old kid that's just like, no, let's say I was a little older then, would have been like 23 by that time. And so I got a job at Pizza Hut delivering pizza. Now this is before GPS, out in Lakeside, California, where the roads are like not marked, and I'm just driving around my little truck.
Thomas Guide.
And I had my master. You know how you used to strap your master, and like Eddie Field used to do, where your master's just standing up in your Toyota truck. You know?
Yeah.
So I had that, and this guy, my coworker, is like, "Man, what you got a Haro Master back there in the back of your truck?" I'm like, "Yeah." So you must ride. I'm like, yeah, I ride a little bit, being really modest and stuff. He's like, so what's your name? I'm like, Dave. He's like, Dave who? I'm Dave Nourie. What the hell are you doing working at Pizza Hut? And it just like kind of crushed me, because you had this lifestyle where, I mean, I had it like summers traveling, went to Japan, went to Brazil, went to, all over the world. And then the reality set in, and you just have to like figure it out,
Yeah, and that's not easy. A lot of people, it's really hard for a lot of people. But let me ask you this: did you have a job before you got sponsored by Haro, or was Haro kind of like your first job?
Oh no, I had other jobs. I mean, I did.
I'm not like
talking
shoveling driveways and that.
No, I had other stuff. I did some painting stuff. I did a few different little, and I had a job at a beer factory. And I remember going in. This is another great story. I went to quit for this job because basically, I made this decision. The contract was not a lot of money, Rick. It was just enough. I didn't have.
Oh, I know. Haro didn't pay people that well.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in 85. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying in 85, I didn't have a family. I was renting a room in a house,
I get it, yeah.
So I could live off of $500 a year. I mean, not a year. I mean, a month.
Yeah,
right.
It seemed like a lot. Like, I got $500.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I was working at this beer factory, and they just moved me up into this big warehouse and gave me like I was making like $3.10 an hour, and they just gave me like another 20 cents or something.
You were above minimum wage at that time.
Yeah, exactly.
Minimum wage back then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I go in there. So after I signed with Haro, and I realized that things were starting to happen, and I was getting paid per shows, and I was going on tour. So I went and gave my 2 weeks notice. And the guy, I'll never forget it. He was like, "So what exactly are you doing?" And I go, "Well, I'm actually going." This is 85. People don't know. You don't see it on television.
No.
E.T. was out, and that it was before Rad.
Yeah.
But E.T. was maybe the first any kind of BMX exposure to the mass media, whatever. And sure enough, I said, "Well, I'm going to do shows." And he's like, "What are you going to join the circus?" And looking back, it kind of was a circus. Traveling with Ron and Brian.
Yeah.
Was a freaking circus.
Yeah.
And so I'll never forget it. The guy was just like, "Wow, we had a future for you." And I'm like, "Yeah, I think it's like a fork in the road. I think I'm going to go down this road and see where it leads to." And it worked out pretty well. Yeah.
And that I could relate to that because, dude, in high school, when you're talking about people not understanding, my student council was like trying to talk me out of being a bike rider.
Really?
Yeah, because no one, like society, TV kind of solidified. When things get on TV, people go, "Oh, then it's legit, right? Then we can accept it." It's like they're like that easily led by television. Once you reach that status, then hey, man, we like you.
Yeah.
Before then, it's like we're confused on what you're about because they don't understand it, right?
Yeah.
So back then, I relate to you because people didn't understand. So he's probably like, even I've known some people that were gonna get. I think even Dennis, he had a full ride scholarship. In college, and he turned it down to be a pro rider.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand.
Is a very smart individual.
He's a very smart individual, and I get it that he would have a full scholarship. But
yeah,
wow.
he had. I think he was going to get paid to go to college, and he said, "No, I'm going to turn this down," because he wanted to. I think I can't speak for him, but for me, I think me and him kind of had the same train of thought of like, well, let's try this because college will still be there. Right. Like I can go to college right now.
Yeah.
Depending on what I want to be, but if I really want to be something, I could still be it. You still could jam out. You could still, if I want to grind that.
Yeah, exactly.
Bike riding teaches us that.
Yeah.
That you can accomplish anything if you want. So it's like a life lesson that you could apply into, at least for me. Do you feel that way ever?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
like accomplishing a trick you write down and then put
academically, so I went to an alternative school, and I used to tell people, like, I didn't get sent to this alternative school. My mom chose it because it was very progressive. I mean, I got to ride. I learned 360 in the classroom. We had these couches in this classroom. We had meditation class.
Your mom is the coolest, dude.
Yeah,
Come
she's
on.
awesome.
Mom, I was looking at you right now, Mom. You're the coolest.
And so, anyhow, this class, I mean, this school really supported my riding.
And that was in San Diego.
Yeah, and they didn't like the fact that I rode on the campus. There was this cool bank, and I used to come in early and start riding. But I just remember they did this reunion, and it was probably 20-year reunion, and I was still out there on my bike, come rolling up. He was still doing 360s.
Oh, at the school.
Yeah,
And they were like, dude, you're never going to grow up.
Yeah, you're never going to grow up.
No, the thing is that we are grown up. We just found something that you love. I say that all the time, find something you love. I want to back up for a second, though.
Okay.
How did you deal with, because some people can't deal with this.
Yeah.
How did you deal with like this? I'll just say it like how most people kind of can relate. The stardom, you're sponsored, kids are looking up to you, you've got full color pages of magazines, the covers, you're going overseas, you're getting bikes for free, you're living the dream.
Yeah.
For like dudes like me of like wanting to be sponsored, but had no idea even what that meant.
Yeah.
And then that ended, like you said, and you started delivering pizzas. How did you cope with that to still be able to maintain everything you're doing?
I mean,
in
I
other
think-
words, like psychologically,
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
mess with
I
someone's
think it was a bit of a reality check, just to be like, okay, this was great, and it lasted for a good run, and now I got to shift gears. And then I started doing a little bit of networking. I didn't stay at Pizza Hut very long. I was like, okay, this is just what I need to do right now.
You think that happened just to remotivate you to kind of figure out where
Yeah,
to
and
keep
then
riding?
Ron Harrow, who also was an announcer and
Rhino.
Rhino, and he worked at JT. Speaking of, you got JT Racing on.
Oh, I never knew he worked at JT. Did
Yeah,
he?
so
Oh, that's
Ron
cool.
said Ron was going back to Skyway, so he was going to go up to Reading and work with Skyway, and he's like, Gumby, I think I got a job for you. And the only reason I got the job that he pitched to the manager there was he's traveled all over. He knows all the bike shops. So I worked for JT Sales in like half the country is my territory for all the BMX apparel.
I never knew that.
Yeah, and I did it for about 3 years. And so keep in mind, this is the time in my life when I'm like settling down. I got married. I had started having kids. So, being a BMXer, making, your X amount of dollars per show wasn't really a reality. I needed
You had to take care of people.
Exactly.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was your priorities shifted a little bit, but still, I still rode. I still was, and it was great that it was a bike company, and I love Greg and Rita. I mean, they treat me like it was great.
Right.
It was probably 2 or 3 years I worked there.
I think there's different owners now.
Oh yeah,
at
I didn't even
JT.
know. I didn't know who.
Yeah,
who
yeah.
was,
I think.
But at the time, it was Gregory and
Right.
and
Yeah.
Rita,
That started. Yeah.
So-
Crazy. I never knew that. So then you had that job, you had the family. So by having the association with JT and BMX, it still kind of kept you in the world of riding. So it still inspired you to want to ride.
Yeah.
It's not like you said, oh, I'm going to start selling insurance and then not touch my bike anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also just kind of networking. Like I met Xavier Mendez because he was one of the people that worked at a bike shop. And so I was his
OG.
salesman.
Yeah.
And now I see him, often at these different events that he puts on.
Didn't he ride though back in the Pipeline days too?
Yeah, no, I competed against him too in that first contest.
Yeah, you did. Okay.
And he's always like, yeah, I just, Nourie beat me by like point one, point, and he got first place.
Shout out to Xavier. What up?
Yeah.
You just got back from the old school jam. We're gonna talk.
Yeah,
about
that's
that
kind of
too.
why my voice is a
The
little
old school
raspy.
reunion. Yeah, but I want to get to this with you more too.
Okay,
It's like
okay.
so then you were able to because you have a very unique writing style, and like a lot of people, I don't know if you know this or not. Those that follow Dave's career would know, but you have a trick that a lot of people know called the Gumby. And at the time, that style of writing, because like anything else, the styles change.
Sure.
And back then, people listening, Flatland was bigger than life.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
It was bigger than Ramp.
We did a little bit of everything. It felt like most
Right.
riders rode Flatland
But Flatland seemed like it was bigger than Ramp and Street. This was before Street craze, Park craze, all that.
right. Yeah.
Because kids couldn't afford ramps, so everyone rode Flatland.
And there weren't a lot of ramps, in skate parks. Like there was just a couple in San Diego that lasted for a while, and then eventually the insurance just got too expensive, and they closed them down. Other than Del Mar and Pipeline, that kind of
Right. Well, and
stuck
then we're
around.
from Missouri. We had none.
Yeah.
So we had a quarter pipe in the backyard. But Flatland was kind of like everything up until the late 80s almost.
Yeah. yeah, exactly.
even bigger than Vert. Half pipe contests really weren't super popular yet. So like you were at the top, cream of the crop with your style with the Gumby. And so what I'm trying to let people know is that like there was a lot of balance tricks at the time.
Yeah.
And so that was something that you came up with, your style. Talk to me about that. Like, is this just something that you...
So
Because you're a perfect example of what freestyle is. Doing your own thing,
Yeah.
having your own moves, creating your own style. I love it.
yeah, so it kind of evolved as, like I was saying, a street rider that then went to the beach, and it was like learning to be more of a show rider in a smaller area, confined, like, stage it was almost. And then I just started getting more and more creative. I met this guy, Robert Peterson, who's the master of balance.
I
and he
remember
was
him
doing
in the videos.
He had pegs. He had these little Skyway, before they were Skyway pegs, but these little pegs. So I started putting pegs on my bike, started doing more balance tricks. He showed me this trick called the Peterson, where you grab the front brake and like do no footer.
I remember
and I
that
didn't
one.
have a front brake. I think I had a back brake, but no front brake. So I
But
had
then he would lift the seat, so the seat would be hitting the handlebar, right?
Yeah, and he did a lot of like very again a very unique rider that did a lot of this balance stuff.
It was a balance craze.
Yeah, and so then I did this trick because I didn't have a brake. I grabbed the tire with my hand, and I was doing a no footer. It looked really goofy, so then I did the no footer, and I just ended up doing a handstand. And then they call that the Nourie stand, which is basically it stemmed from watching Robert doing some of his
Doing
tricks.
the no-footed one.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you went more elevated and you scorpion style arching. Yeah,
exactly.
I remember you had a color shot of that one in front of that graffiti wall in Venice.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know
It's
exactly.
Stuck in my head,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's a lot of the riding that I, watching different riders, Eddie Roman, I rode with Eddie Roman, Pete Augustin, Jason Parks.
Super creative guys.
Yeah, and everyone's totally different style. You can spot them in any video because you just know their style.
Do you think BMX has lost that?
A bit, but
I'm not talking shit. I'm not talking crap on anybody, their style, their riding, nothing. It's just back in the day, even up until like the X Games into like the 90s and stuff, people still had their own style. I have my own style. Dennis had his own style. Jay Miron, you knew that was Jay. Everyone didn't look and ride the same.
Yeah.
It just seemed like there was still a lot of individuality to
and
it.
it's also the bikes too. Like we all had our
True.
different bikes and the different
True.
brands. Where a lot of riders will have a very similar setup on a bike or colors. It's not like. So I try to keep colors in my scheme. I like have bright colors. I ride a green bike now, and I just feel like I want to not necessarily trying to keep the 80s feeling alive, just trying to keep that pop, especially when post stuff on social media, which is the world that we live in now. Is posting stuff on social media and reaching the audience that way, and I really appreciate that we have that, which we didn't have that back in the day.
Dude, I'm with you on the same thing. Like these kids nowadays have no idea how spoiled they really are. Like you had to really work for it back in the day.
To get a little picture in the magazine, it was
to try to get like a free pair of shin guards or something. Like it was insane.
Yeah.
Or not to get anything, just some recognition.
Yeah,
It's like it was a different. Yeah, but we're gonna be these old farts sitting around like what it used to be. I mean, I just think that you have like your own style, and the fact that you still keep it going and you still do the tricks you're doing with this energy and enthusiasm is awesome. It's so motivating to a lot of us. I don't know if people tell you that or not, but it's motivating because, like, how old are you?
I'm 59. I'll be 60 in December, so I'm almost 60.
Dang, you look good, dude.
Thanks.
60, yeah. So 60 years old, still killing it like you're 15 with the same type of energy. Is like, that's such a refreshing thing of someone that never really gave up on something that they love to do.
Yeah.
And that's something that I really stress to people all the time.
I think there's a good story that I should share that happened on the road. So I was in Ohio, and we'd do these double headers sometimes where different teams would come through. This time it was Skyway and Kevin Jones. Now this is like 88.
Oh shit, Kevin Jones is anyone out there, look him up.
Yeah, exactly. Look up at Kevin Jones. Like he took it to. You're talking about the balance stuff, and
he took the rolling. He came in with the rolling stuff,
and every possible switch-footed, like insane stuff that I just saw, and I just fell behind as far as keeping up with the Joneses, so to speak, or I just made a total bad pun. Kevin Jones.
Oh,
I don't know.
that was a good one. I just caught it. Yeah.
But keeping up with the trends and what's popular, right? And I don't know what it was about Kevin. Like Kevin's a very mild-mannered, quiet kind of guy. Amazing writer. And he came up to me after the show and he said, "Nourie, I just want you to remember, like, just do you, just do your style. Like, you got it. You got what it takes. Just do it." And that was really, really, it hit me like hard. And I just remember, it's like, I don't care if I can't pull off that double whiplash to steamroller to, like these crazy combinations that I was doing some of it, but I wasn't, advancing at the levels that the riding is. And now the X Games and the Japanese riders specifically, and some of the flatland is off the hook. It's just unbelievable.
Terry Adams too. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah. So I just remember hearing that from Kevin, from someone that I so respected, just to remind me to stay in my. Yeah,
because that generation of them 80 riders, once the late 80s came, like you guys were like the mid 80s to the late 80s, and then along came Kevin Jones and the Dorkin and York crew with Mark Eaton and Brett Downs and all these guys, and so then it's like the sport shifted and started shifting in these motions and these movements.
Yeah.
But it all started because of you guys. Yeah,
I mean,
you
I think
still got to understand, like Kevin Jones probably saw you in magazines too. All those guys did. You still, you inspire. I mean, you're, like I said, you're Gumby, you're Nourie stand. You're the one that I used to try to do this trick that you do, and I could only go around like 1.5 times and never rode out of it, was the peg spin.
Oh,
and I used to try that.
Yeah.
Because I did a lot of your tricks.
Okay,
I
cool.
I emulated that because I would be like, and the Nourie stand I used to do, and I did all of them. I'll show you all these. I got all these photos. That was kind of my style because I was following what you guys were doing because I idolized you guys. I was like, oh, and with Flatland So Big, you were one of my favorites.
Oh, well, thank you. That was...
Outside of being around Dennis, because Dennis is my best friend, he was also my favorite in a different kind of style.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, sure.
But it's like developing your own style and anything you do is such an amazing feat because not a lot of people can do that.
Yeah.
And you've done that.
I think it just kind of evolved. I mean, it wasn't something like penciled anything out. It's like we were talking about before. You just start to do it and then
Listening to yourself.
And just going with it. Yeah, going with your gut.
Yeah.
So I'm really just blessed that it happened that way because who would have known that I would be sitting here 45 years later still doing what I did.
You? Because you love it. It shows you that like the passion goes a long ways.
Yeah.
Doing things because you like to do them, not because you're told to do them or what you think you're supposed to do.
Right.
Which is great. Which is a great thing. So let's follow your pattern here or your timeline. So the pizza thing, and then you went on tour with RL. With Ron. How long did that? Does that just
just
one
one
tour?
year? Yeah, it was 1 year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
What year was that?
So that would have been 80. It would have been 89 to 9.
Is that after he got hurt?
That was after.
He got hurt.
Yeah,
he got hurt in 88.
Yeah, after he got hurt. Yeah.
Okay. So then after 89, what happened with you?
Then I started doing some shows with GT because Bill Hawkins was one of the managers at Haro.
Mm-hmm.
Moved over. Him and Ron Haro were working with GT, booking shows.
So you had a lot of roots from the Haro days,
Yeah,
and they went elsewhere than they were.
So I did that a little on the side. I was working at JT at the time, so I was just doing that.
You did the JT, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Basically, just weekend stuff going down. We did a lot of Mexico shows, and that was fun. And then I just kind of settled down more with the family. We moved up to Southern Oregon. That's where I live now. And still rode. I never stopped riding, but I didn't do it as much. It got a little bit disconnected from the core. Well, moving out of Southern California to your point
if you
earlier.
get older and you get kids and things change.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, it's just not.
But I started riding parks because there was all these amazing skate parks in Southern Oregon that are just like fun to ride. So I got a Haro Plamo and started rolling around a little bit and just having fun.
Awesome.
And then started doing some stuff at the YMCA, like teaching classes and just kind of like thinking about.
Yeah, because you do like a lot of clinics and stuff.
Yeah, and at that time I couldn't really make it work to feed the family, but I still wanted to do it, part time.
But you still do the clinics now. You have Dave Nourie clinics, right?
Yeah.
Because I've seen you basically teach kids how to do flatland.
Yeah, Dave Nourie. Yeah, it's Dave Nourie Academy. Yeah.
Dave Nourie Academy. That's it. Yeah. And so when did you start that?
Oh, that's been like 10 years on and off. But not recently, I've been traveling and doing stuff. So I went to Japan like in March and did a clinic for 1 day. We had 24 riders.
Oh, wow.
And as young as 6 and as old as 60.
No way.
And the 60-year-old wasn't like an old school rider.
6-year-old ate shit, didn't he?
No, but he was. I'll tell you a story about the 60-year-old. But the 60-year-old was a guy that just got his bike.
No, I'm saying the 60-year-old ate shit.
Oh yeah, no. I thought you said 6-year-old. No, the 60-year-old just got his bike though. It wasn't like an old school rider that came back. He just got his bike like 3 weeks prior.
Wow.
And then the 6-year-old was so intimidated. Like we had like 12. I had 2 groups of 12, and I could just see that he was really like not feeling it. And his dad was trying to encourage him, and it's like I don't speak the language, and I just kind of took a moment of silence almost. All the Japanese, they respected
like the sensei.
Yeah, it was really cool, Rick. It was awesome because I just like looked at the kid for just a second.
You were Mr. Miyagi, bro.
And then I looked at the group and we all just like were quiet. And then all I said to the kid was, "It's gonna be okay." And then by the end of the clinic, he was full on, because basically my clinic is 2 hours and we're going to learn these old school tricks. Here's a list. I'm going to do the trick. If you like what you see, you do a little check and you just check it. And then everyone that wants to learn, Indos, come over here. I
thought you were going to be like wax on, wax off.
And so then this kid was just like killing it. His dad was like basically in tears by the end of that day because his kid had just transformed.
Wow.
So that's really where I'm at now. It's like whatever I can do to motivate and inspire a rider that's interested specifically in flatland, and old school's kind of my jam. So that's where I'm focusing on.
And I mean, I think that's perfect too, because I mean, you have the energy for that, and you have the tricks and the list of tricks to help kids get involved with BMX.
Right.
You know, you look at these new kids like Terry Adams' clinic, you'd be like, all right, I don't know if I can do this.
I'm not ready for Terry Adams'
That's what I'm
clinic.
saying.
You know, it's like,
Hey, I want to back up for a second though, because I don't want to pass this. What was it like back in like California back in say 85
right?
at the beach? Because BMX was new.
Yeah.
Like I have a theory about how BMX is going through a weird funk. And it's because society's kind of like used to it now. Like they see it and then they go, and then the level of riding got so high that sometimes it could be maybe a little intimidating to people to be like, wow, I got to do those tricks to be in this sport. That's,
yeah, absolutely.
I just want to go out and ride and have fun. I want to go, you know, do, but what was it like back then? Like when it was fresh, it was new.
Yeah.
And what was the response from people?
And I think there wasn't as much distraction. You know, let's face it, like,
no internet, no
internet.
Well, you had a bike
you know,
and a skateboard and a dirt bike.
I mean, I played some
pickup.
pinball machines and a little video games where, you know, like at an arcade, but I didn't get sucked into that world, you know.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then, like, I feel like there's just a lot for people to choose from, where I spent all my days riding my bike. I used to ride my bike to school and back.
But
like every
that's
day.
awesome. But when you did these little demos or practice or jam sessions at the beach, everyone was really interested in it, right? They were like,
Oh yeah, I
society
see
was
what your point is. Yeah,
enthusiastic
like
about it. Or?
You can. It's a lot easier to stop and get a crowd than it is today, because I think it was, like you said, fresh, and you don't see it on every, you know, YouTube or
And
social
people might have
media
been like,
stream.
this is a California thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Because that's where it started.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But were people really into it? Was it more enthusiasm? You think?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. Yeah.
That's got to be a great time.
Yeah.
It was innocent,
Yeah.
in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Like it was fresh. And you guys were teams and you wore jerseys and stuff. And you were a team and you stuck together. Hey, I want to talk real quick also too about, speaking of teams and touring, you, Brian Blyther, and Ron Wilkerson are the OG, the best freestyle team I've ever seen do a show.
Well, thank you.
And I saw GT, I saw Haro before, I saw Team Murray. I saw them all come through. I saw Mongoose, all these ones, right?
So what stood out? What stood out when you say that? Like, because
the way that you, like, well, for you in particular, like your style, you know, the things that you would do. You know, you would do your Vanderrolls and the Gumby and all this type of stuff. And just the way that, like, the doubles and then the triples, and you guys just seemed like you guys all got along.
So
you guys had, like, great camaraderie. I could tell that you guys were, like, friends. Because I've done tours with people for years.
Yeah.
And I might not get along with them, but I'm not fighting them, but I don't really hang out with them. But we'll do the show. You know, that happens sometimes. But I could tell that you guys really, like, enjoyed each other's company and understood where you guys were at during the show.
I mean, so think about it. We traveled for 5 years, including the 2 hip. So 5 years. And I swear every time we finished a show, we'd go out, you know, to go to Denny's and have, you know, dinner and talk about the show. You know, get on the road and we talk about, oh, we're going to do a different ending. And I really contributed to Ron. Like Ron had the direction to say, this is a show. We're going to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You know, that was the structure of it. But we're always going to improve, always going to evolve. So like,
Ron's super creative dude too. That's done so much for BMX.
Yeah, so perfect example. You know, they used to fly out on the deck at the end, then we do like one last trick, come in and like, you know, do the hardest trick, and then I'm like, well, why don't I go on the top and I'll do a Gumby, and Brian, you can 360 over me on top of the deck because we had this huge deck, you know, and that was just like a thought.
But didn't you do front wheel hops too? And he came out on the bike and hit.
Oh yeah, no, that was Ron and Brian that did that.
Ron and Brian did that.
But all of those scenes came up with just an idea, and we tried it, and then we judged it by the response from the audience, how well it went, you know. And then we're like, yeah, we're keeping that. That one's not gonna, you know, stick because it just didn't you know hit it as well or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's how it all happened. It was a combination of Ron's structure, our constant creativity. And just like thinking about whatever we can do, let's throw it out there. And then what I think you said was probably the most important is that we really cared about it, and we cared about each other, and we cared about the show.
Yeah.
You know, we're like brothers. I still talk to them, you know, on a regular basis.
Well, what was the show like with the kids back then? Were they super stoked at the bike shop?
Oh yeah.
Because it was so new. Everybody wanted to be part of it, man.
It was
hungry.
Yeah. It was insane. I mean, sometimes we'd roll up and there'd be like 1,500 kids that had, you know, some of the 5-6 hour drives that they came to watch the show. Yeah.
Yeah, that's rad, dude. Yeah, that's cool. Because I remember I was actually with you guys, with Dennis, Joe Johnson, and Rick Molinterno, in 1987. The year I graduated high school, I got a bike for graduation, and that's when I said I'm going to be. I mean, I was already rode, but I was like, I'm going to start my life. I'm going to go for this.
Yeah.
And we crossed paths with you guys in Chicago, and it was
You're right.
It was when Blyther you probably remember this.
When he crashed?
He got crashed because he did a B-tuck or a dork air, the one that he does, and his knee pad got stuck in his lever.
Yeah.
And he busted his lip. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was in Chicago.
He didn't knock his teeth out, but knocked him loose. Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
I remember.
Yeah, I was this little scrub.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thinking, that's Dave Nourie right there. What's going on? Now he's sitting here, dude. What's up? Ah!
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys had the best show.
Well, thank you. I think.
Yeah, and you guys just went on the road, didn't you?
We just did a Back for More tour. Yeah.
And how many years apart was that?
So 40 years.
40 years later,
40
you guys
years
went on the road.
Went on the road.
What was that like?
It was amazing. I mean, we basically had this. I came on a podcast, we started talking about it, and then it just started like, well, let's see what it takes to make this happen. And we did a GoFundMe. Mark Eden was hired to do a documentary. It's soon to be launched. We've been waiting.
Come on, Mark.
I know, Mark. Please
Come on,
get it
dude.
done.
What the,
Seriously.
You did Joe Kid on the Stingray. I was dorking New York shit.
Yeah. So Mark, and I talked to Mark. I'm like, is this like a project that you can't sign off on? Because it's just you could always,
He
make a
filmed
better
on my
edit.
TV show for ESPN for a while too.
Oh, really?
Come on, Mark. I want to see the documentary. Where you at?
Yeah, he told me, just tell me, it's coming out soon. I'm like, Mark, I've already used that, man. We got to get this done, So it's coming. It is coming. And but as far as the tour, so you probably know Stefan Pronto, and then there was this guy named Lars, and also Bernie. They were kind of like the three of us, but from Germany. And we hooked up. We met them in '85. And we've stayed in contact. Stefan lived with me in the summer.
Stefan Pronto's the friggin' best.
He does the Worlds and Clone for many years, and I mean his heart is just fully into BMX, and for all the right reasons. Just for community and just giving the riders. I mean, here's a great example. He wants flatland at the Worlds, and it rains a lot in Europe in the summertime, and you can't really ride in the rain.
It rains like every day.
Yeah. And so he rented. It was something like $100,000 for this bumper car course that he brought in and put plywood down just for the flatlanders.
$100 grand?
$100,000.
Is he a rich kid?
Maybe it was $10,000, but it was a lot of money.
Yay, Prantle.
Yeah.
Flow some money to the podcast. What's going on?
But my point is...
We'll put your logo right here. Prantle.
But my point is that he really cared about, because Flatlanders can be pretty particular about the riding area.
Oh, they're very particular because it's a different thing. Look, I used to say this about Flatland because I used to do it. I competed Flatland from Jeff. Did I look like a troll the whole time? Hunched over, look like. Anyways, listen. I used to do this. I used to go with Dennis McCoy. We used to go to the underground parking lots. We used to compete. We used to make a log, and you would get tricks 10 for 10. And when you got tricks 10 for 10, then you do them 5 for 5. It was all about being consistent.
Yeah.
You'd be 8 for 8, go up for the 9th one and choke. You had to start back over.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So being a flatlander is a certain kind of human being
Yeah.
that's willing to sit in a parking lot by himself for 8 hours.
And I hear that often, Rick, and that's not entirely.
But that doesn't
that's
seem
not
like that
every
was
flat-
you.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that's not
That
how
wasn't you though.
Well, the difference was I would take it to the beach.
You were more social, it seems.
Yeah,
like.
and it was like, okay, showtime, and I'm going to just do my best. And then sometimes new stuff would evolve. And I did a bit of practicing, but I wasn't like the numerous
You don't
hours.
seem like you would be.
No, I was always right in front. And now the difference is I just put a camera on, and I'm just, reaching out to my social media because that's the audience that's readily available, which is awesome. It's awesome to have that.
Yeah, definitely.
And
we talked on the phone a lot about the social media stuff and getting people involved with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Which hopefully this podcast too will get you some followers and what you're doing as well. But yeah, you don't seem like you were the kind of person that was that way. But some people are.
Yeah,
and they
for sure.
they just thing, they're in this zone. Leave me alone. We're together. Like that's how me and Dennis used to be. Like we would go to the underground parking lot together.
Yeah.
But he'd be over there, I'd be over here.
Oh, really?
Kind
Oh,
of.
yeah.
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was getting ready for a contest, and we would communicate and talk to each other. But then I would go focus on my thing. It's like, it's really about being consistent. And the way we trained ourselves to be consistent is there's a little bit of isolation to that, even though we were together. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
my interpretation of Flatland must have been like, well, everybody must be this way. But when I think of you, I don't see you that way. I feel like the crowd is more kind of like where your heart's at, and that's what brings out your creativity is this showmanship. that not a lot of people have.
Yeah.
A lot of people got judged on that too back in the day, didn't they?
Yeah, for
Competing?
showmanship. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a category.
It was a category. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like if you
for sure.
smile and wave, you get extra points.
Exactly. And appearance, like,
Yeah. Yeah. The tricks, like I didn't do any hard tricks, but hey,
yeah,
I got a clean bike and I'm waving. Ah.
exactly. Yeah.
So what else is new? What do you got next? What do you got next?
We're gonna go to Argentina. So the Back for More crew. So it's gonna be Ron, Brian, and I. And
What's it called again? So they know.
Back for More.
Back for More.
Yeah.
Wait. So how many? Are you going there for one show or a couple
Yeah,
weeks?
one show. There's a big event that's been happening in Argentina. I don't know how many years, and that will be fun because we're gonna dovetail. Basically ride in their coattails and do an old school show.
Dude, you're still traveling overseas after all these years. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I said, I went to Japan recently, and
That's pretty cool.
and yeah, it's I've been a few different places where I talked to someone over the weekend about going to China. Never been to China.
Oh, cool.
And again, I just want to bring the flatland. I've done some clinics locally in my hometown.
Yeah.
But I do like to bring it out to different communities. So that's kind of where my focus has been.
Absolutely. That's part of what we do, bro. It's part of like the reason why, at least for me, like I got involved with this because I wanted to tour around. I didn't want to wake up, we could sleep in a little bit and still go ride and get what you need done and tour around and see the world and have someone else pay for it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm not against that.
And then the other thing that I think is just important to be said is that, you mentioned, how old are you? And like age is a big factor. And I feel like riding, whether it's flatland or whatever kind of BMX that you're doing, it's such a life. I mean, I call it like my longevity plan. And partly because flatland, I'm not beat up. I have no surgeries. I have 2 broken bones. I have a broken pinky and a broken toe. That's
but
it.
flatland's more physically challenging on your body than ramps.
Well,
because you have to use your physical strength.
Yeah, you sound like Dennis, because Dennis talks about that. He's like,
yeah,
dude,
you need physical
he's
strength.
He's like, my wrists are shot,
Yeah,
But,
you need to lift your body. You need to do decades. You need boomerang.
But a lot of the ramp riders that I know, I mean, if they were sitting next to me, they're going to have a list of surgeries and broken bones.
Mm-hmm.
So and as I get older, maybe my tricks are getting a little bit lower and lower to the ground. But in general, I just love and appreciate the longevity of it. You got community, you got a physical, challenge. And then that mental aspect, it's like I'm not necessarily learning and creating a lot of new tricks, but I'm trying to bring old stuff back, stuff that I've lost over the years.
Yeah, but you're in shape still, and you still, your body's still in condition for riding. And I just, if no one's familiar with freestyle flatland on a bike, when you're doing decades and boomerangs and stuff on the ground, you have to support your body's different kind of core thing.
Yeah.
When you hit a ramp, it's like you compress and you hit the ramp. It's doing that. You just get hurt, obviously, but the physical strength is something more with flatland than it would be a ramp rider, in my opinion.
I have a funny story.
Not to say you gotta be in shape when you ride ramps. You do, but it's just different. Flatland's just more. It's like doing pull-ups all the time or something.
Yeah. So Cole Volker, Dave Volker's son, we were at the old school this weekend. And I had my bike out after the whole reception and everything, and I was showing this little kid how to do a Gumby, right? Still like people are like, all right, try a Gumby. So I got him, coaching him on it, and Cole's like, I want to try that. He's 6 foot something. He's like 6'2". He did a Gumby on my bike. And it was so classic. Then he went over to my mom. He's like, that was the best thing ever. I have a whole different respect for Dave and the Gumby.
Wait, Jeff? This is a crazy thought because I know we only got a few minutes left with this, but finish your thought.
Yeah, so basically, just that it was just so funny that the Gumby, which I thought was the silliest trick ever, and my mom convinced me to do it right before the contest in AFA, the San Diego contest, and I'm like, Mom, it's not even a trick. She's like, they're gonna love it. That now.
Well, do you have your bike with you?
I do have it.
Can he go get his bike and do a Gumby right here?
If you can grab it real quick, yeah, we'll just put a pause on this.
Pause. Yeah, pause it for 1 second. Stay right there, everybody. Can you go get it?
Yeah.
Yo, so you got your bike.
Got my bike.
Everyone, you got his bike that quick. All right, so he's gonna show us the infamous trick that put him on the map. Everyone knows him for it. It's called the Gumby. Let's do it. Okay, yeah. But you look that way because the camera's gonna be that way. Jeff, you got to get a photo of this too. Okay, so you rest there. You go down. Yeah.
Press into a handstand.
See what I mean? It's 60. See the physical strength mistakes?
Oh, jeez. Oh,
So,
Hold on. We won't fall over.
do it quick. I'm gonna get too tired.
got it. Oh, damn.
Wait, hold on. I got you. Get it right out. He's got it right out. It can't touch the ground.
Don't hold it.
Oh, my bad. I'm like, oh, get the hat. Oh. Yo, homie's 59 years old, bro. What's up? See, dude, that's the trick right there, the Gumby, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to get on it. Sorry, I didn't mean to get on it, but we did it Woodward before.
Yeah. It's actually one of the hardest tricks to get out of. Because you get in there, but coming out of it's always been a bit challenging, you know?
Yeah, I'm going to be real with you. I can get in it, but I never could get out of it.
Really? I never knew that.
I don't know. Maybe I did once or twice, but yeah, it was a hard one to get out of.
Yeah.
But that's when I was 15. You're still doing it at 59. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you.
I'm stoked. I'm glad you brought that in to show everybody. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Hey, so listen, we got to get jamming.
Okay.
I'm super stoked you came in here. I'm like, everyone out there, if you something you love to do, keep doing it, man. Dave's a perfect example. Like, you could go, like, just don't give up on yourself.
Yeah.
Keep reinventing yourself. Things may get tough. Do your thing. You got to do what you got to do. Can you say in that camera right there where someone can follow your Instagram?
Yeah. So
and
basically,
stuff like
on any of the social media platforms, it's just DaveNourie.com. So
how do you spell Nourie?
Yeah, Nourie's Nourie. I'm doing a lot of short form on most of the platforms, but YouTube, I do a little bit long form with some instruction on how-tos and whatnot.
So then you got the Instagram, the YouTube, and then real quick, are there any other clinics coming up someone could go to that you got scheduled? Or?
No, not right now.
Not right now.
I'm
okay.
talking about maybe China, but we don't have any dates set. Argentina is the next big date. I'm going to a contest in a couple weeks in Ohio, but yeah.
In Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, if you're in Argentina, anyone out there, make sure you see Back for More.
Yeah.
In 2025.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, dude.
Still alive in 25.
Still alive in 25. That's it. Hey, listen, man. Thanks, Dave. You're the best.
Yeah, thanks, Rick.
So stoked. Right. Childhood hero in the house. This is Rick Thorne. Thanks a lot for watching the show. Stay rad.
Everybody ready? Come on, let's go.